Sweet. Welcome back to the On the Record podcast with Matt Marquez. That's who I am. I am Matt Marquez. Thank you again for stopping by. And today we have a very, very special guest. He is one of my closest friends in my life. He is an artist that I highly admire, a friend that I enjoy collaborating with, and it is no other than Arend Jessurun. Hey, Aaron, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
thanks so much for stopping by, as well as for being one of my first guests. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to slate out these episodes, but you're definitely like in the first four. So I knew when I started this thing off that I wanted you to be one of my inaugural people to hop on. Because we go way back, and also I want to have this sort of platform to talk with other artists about music, your writing process, and also kind of give you a space to perform as well. Hence why you got that guitar set up and everything. So yeah, I can't really stress enough, but thanks again for stopping by, dude.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited for how, what you're gonna do with this, and I love the name too.
Thanks. Yeah, I was running a bunch of names by Lucas in terms of what really stuck the most, and part of the inspiration for On the Record was, like I brought up, being able to talk to musicians about music, about their processes, and kind of being able to dig deeper into that space. So
Mhm.
in a way, you're kind of inspiration for the podcast name. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, processes. That's how you know that like we're getting down to business.
Uh,
Like,
you know,
or-
broke my Merriam-Webster's dictionary and everything.
yeah, when you start like pronouncing words differently, it's like, whoa, this is the real deal.
It's the real deal. I would say I got like half of those words from our AP language class.
Yeah,
Just throwing quasi and everything.
quasi. Yeah,
Yeah,
quasi or pseudo or.
pseudo. Just all those things. Those what is it like? Spruce up your college app essays.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, you know what? I better close my blinds because I can already see there's like a glare happening.
yeah.
I
Go
guess,
for it, dude. This is totally casual.
which is nice. However, sometimes the sun gets in my eyes.
I love when the sun gets in your eyes, though. It just gives you that additional hazel tint
Duh.
to your beautiful deep eyes. This is actually a ploy for me to sweep you off your feet and steal you from your girlfriend.
Oh,
So I
haha.
hope you're receptive to that. I
Watch out.
also hope that she's receptive to it as well. And hopefully by the tail end of this, I can earn her blessing.
Here you go, Matt. You can have my boyfriend.
Oh, thank you so much. So yeah, for the people at home, obviously we know each other very well. We've gone a while back. So I think just to kick this thing off, Aaron, why don't you tell the people at home about yourself? Like, who is Aaron Jessurun? And yeah, let's start off from there.
Yeah, so my name is Arend, and I release music under my name, my full name, Arend Lee Jessurun. I write mostly like in the, I would say like pretty comfortably, easily fit within like the folk genre. Um, yeah, and I started doing this a little more seriously about a year and a half ago. Um, yeah, so I've just been doing this. I record and write here in this room. I self-produce my material, and I've been breaking out into producing for other artists lately, like Matt here. And yeah, just trying to find a new rhythm now in quarantine. New rhythm. Ooh, that's a podcast name too.
That could be your side podcast.
Yeah, just all the music puns.
Yeah, it'll be our music pun podcast where you'll impersonate Hozier and I'll impersonate Steve Aoki.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, let's do it.
I gotta find an Irish accent now.
Is he Irish?
I think he's Irish.
Oh, I mean, I don't listen to Hozier. All I know is that you look like Hozier. So,
Yeah, you're the first person to tell me that, and I'd never seen his face before, and I was like, oh wow, yes, it's pretty. There's a resemblance, all right.
and then slowly more people just start bringing it up, like, oh, hey, he does look like Hozier. Yeah.
I just better like cash in on this now and like start the premier Hozier cover band this side of the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
And yeah, mhm,
Yeah, just dive right into it, dude.
just go for it.
Um, so yeah, I don't know if we've ever really talked about this in depth, but Yes, let's dive into the topic of how we met. Like, how do we know each other?
Yeah, so we met in middle school. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, like
which
a,
like based on that now feels like 15 or so years ago,
yeah, a
something like
different
that.
friend groups. You were friends with the Weibels, and the Weibels were, um, yeah, I had like a month and a half girlfriend in middle school, and that's basically like how a lot of us all met. Like it was just kind of the merging of friend groups as happens in the adolescence time.
We
But
met through ill-fated romantic excursions.
which is okay. Uh,
Yeah,
it happens. It's middle school.
it's middle school.
Um,
Nothing good comes out of middle school except for friendships like this.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
And and we all still remained friends, and that was really cool. Even me and my short month and a half middle school girlfriend, and we just all. But yeah, so and then you and I were also in jazz band together. I think
yeah.
that same year.
Yeah, that's how I remember first meeting you. It's funny because I didn't realize that Jazz Band was like a week-long audition process. I just remember coming on the last day and feeling kind of bad that I took the spot from all the other drummers that had auditioned.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang, that's nuts. So it was a week-long
I
audition.
think it felt like a week long, or I know it was like more than one day because
Remember that?
I remember a bunch of people were like in the room, and I also like, I think I came in late
Mm.
for the process because I heard about it after the fact. I think from our music teacher, Miss V, or another music teacher that was in the program.
Mhm.
And I remember you were there among I think like two other guitarists potentially that were auditioning. There's just a lot of people auditioning for horns, auditioning for sax, bass, and I think there were 6 or 7 other drummers, including myself.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's nuts.
and needless to say, like we both got in, and I think that's where things like started hitting off.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, we quickly bonded over music stuff. Yeah, Matt, you were the first person I ever quote unquote like recorded and mixed.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, because well, so another mutual friend of ours, Daniel, and I, we would kind of screw around in GarageBand on his Mac. But so we did like a few little goofy songs. But when you recorded your EP in high school,
Oh, yeah. What was it called? Of Jesus and giraffes.
Jesus and Giraffes, classic.
Buried deep somewhere that it's never going to come out again.
Well,
And by
I'm glad.
buried deep somewhere, it means like it's like a physical CD that's like in the bottom of a dresser drawer in my closet or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still get some of those songs stuck in my head from time to time.
I do too, but not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
No. It's more in the way like, oh, I can't believe I wrote something like that. That's really embarrassing.
Well, the music was good. Some of the subject matter, of course, was of its time, of its maturity level. But
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. Thanks for making me feel better, dude.
absolutely. But yeah, so that was fun. Like we recorded some of that in Daniel's bedroom, and then some of that on like a choir field trip.
Yeah.
Like a,
Oh man, I remember I want to say it was like at least 1 or 2 duffel bags of just like microphone stands and
yeah,
recording gear. And keep in mind, I think we were in 11th grade at the time,
yeah.
like in an Anaheim hotel room for like this choir festival. And like, our music teacher was like, "What are you guys doing?" It's, oh, we're recording. Like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Like out of context, it'd be like, "What are you recording? What are you recording in a hotel room with all these men?"
Ah.
But yeah, it's funny, like just thinking back about all the funny shenanigans and the fun projects that we got to do together, especially
Yeah,
as little youngins.
I don't know where we got that idea of like, hey, let's record while we're on a field trip. Like, why it couldn't wait is kind of a mystery to me. But
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
it was.
Mhm.
I think part of it was we were wasn't that we were quarantined in our hotel rooms, but there wasn't really anywhere for us to go, I think,
Hmm.
aside from just like our room and maybe the lobby.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that comes to mind, at least initially. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just an interesting concept in general.
I
Like
get
the lengths we went to do things on these choir field trips.
Yeah, totally. And I guess as a bunch of music kids, it's like, well, let's do music. That'll be fun.
That's on brand for us. That's very on brand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I this is a very appropriate launching off point because of course like you ventured off into music both in terms of like your college experience and then to what you are doing now. So to what degree did our projects in high school influence your kind of career trajectory from graduating in high school to moving on from there?
Yeah. Having that technology at that age was so exciting. So I used to love, and I still do love, listening to recorded music and kind of like I remember the first time listening to the Beatles, and like a lot of those early Beatles recordings have like the drums are only in this ear for some
Yeah.
reason. And I was like, oh, whoa, that's so interesting. And then the bass is over here for some, it's only in that ear. Um, so I would just like listening to music and like, oh, wow, that's a cool like delay effect. And um, then when, Daniel got a Mac and he's like, hey, we can record things with GarageBand, and fiddling around with all the things that you can do in GarageBand was really exciting. Um, yeah, and then having a friend like you were writing a whole lot back then, and
Not good stuff, but I was writing.
and I know you still do write a lot these days, but it was I don't know, it was like yeah, we kind of had that symbiosis then, symbiosis. We got to say it a couple symbiosis for the kind of quasi-intellectual effect.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just having fun with that and learning how to mix for the first time, learning how an EQ works, trying to grasp how on earth what even a compressor does and how to use it. Um, yeah, that was just like a whole window of music that I wasn't able to explore before until then and working on your project.
Yeah. So yeah, I've always been curious about your trajectory in terms of recording, but especially as your trajectory in songwriting, because I think I had an early start as a songwriter. Um, Not like the best beginnings, I would say, in my opinion, but the longer like we spent time with each other and the more that I saw you kind of do your own thing once you got into college, I definitely got to see more of your songwriting. I saw like glimpses of it back in high school, um, but it's so incredible seeing what you're doing now and where you are now. And I just want to say you are one of my favorite lyricists in general. Like not to blow smoke, but generally I really enjoy everything that you write. So thought provoking yet simple, poignant yet um, easy to get stuck in your head. Not to say like there's a disconnect between the two. Um, but it's very easy to grasp and internalize. Um, and yeah, I just want to dig deeper into you as a songwriter, like how you started, influences. And I know like we can just go for miles and miles on this topic, but yeah, I want to pass it over to you and just take the floor on that topic.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. Yeah, I started writing songs, writing like riffs, little sketches, probably as early as like sixth grade, seventh grade. But I always had a hard time finishing things. Um, yeah, just like following the thing through and writing on that inspiration. So I didn't actually finish my first song proper, that like felt like my song, like from a deep part of me. Like we wrote like a math song together, you and I, for like
Oh
AP
yeah.
calculus class. That's different. But I didn't finish like my first like Arend Lee Jessurun song until like freshman year of high school. That was a guitar part that I wrote again back in sophomore year of high school. Wait, did I say freshman year of high school? I meant freshman year of college was when I wrote my first song, finished writing. Um, so I would get really hung up on the lyrics actually. Like I would have a hard time coming up with kind of a flow of lyrics and a melody that could accompany them and a melody that felt like, yes, this is the melody. Because I was a guitarist first and I would write guitar parts and I would write chord progressions and then it would sometimes be hard to like find the right melody for that. Um, then as I started studying and learning more about music, I became more comfortable with melody writing. Nowadays, often I write melody first and then pick chords to go with the melody. Like I'll have a little nugget of a melody that's ringing around in my head, and it's like, oh, let's figure out where that melody goes, and oh, this chord progression works for that melody. Um, and then, yeah, I always loved thoughtful lyricists. I think my first exposure to that was probably, I don't know, probably like Bob Dylan. I found like a Bob Dylan record on my parents' CD shelf, and like another early influence was Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was really popular in those high school days. Every every dude who played guitar could play Banana Pancakes, and you know, it's a little out of vogue now, but there were some great Jack Johnson songs, and some of the ways that he wrote and the lyrics that he chose was like, yeah. Beck was another influence of mine. He had a popular song out at the time, and I dug into him. And he had like, yeah, just kind of a weird, like impressionist way of writing songs. Then sophomore year was kind of like a big musical awakening for me. I started really digging into jazz. I really wanted to be a professional jazz guitarist at the time. And then a few months later, I discovered Sufjan Stevens, and that like really changed my world. It's like, oh, I want to do that kind of thing. I want to write like thoughtful, sad indie folk about like,
I want to spill
yeah,
my emotions.
yeah, feel my emotions and
Yeah.
like, you know, sing about faith and doubt and like heartbreak and things like that. Um, so yeah, Sufjan has had a really profound impact, and again Bob Dylan. So those two are like real primary influences for me. Um, and I think like the thing I've had to learn over the years is just how to simplify because I did have like I cut my teeth on a lot of jazz stuff and like I'm like really into music theory and sometimes I'd get just like these really spun out ideas that were hard to like rein in and follow through. So more and more I just try to keep it simple with the songwriting and um, starting to get more comfortable with that in the lyric writing too. So that means a lot that you said that there's a simplicity to them there. 'Cause, yeah, that's like that's the thing that the rabbit that I'm chasing is like how can I say it simply but also profoundly. So yeah.
Yeah. I think one of your songs that um that is directly applicable to, like not to say that it's not applicable to all of them. I'm a fan of all your songs, but the one that really sticks out to me that is that marriage of being poignant yet so simple to grasp across like all age spectrums is Everybody is a Fool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I find myself just playing it in LA traffic quite frequently.
Uh,
Um and Yeah, it's so easy to get stuck in your head, but it speaks volumes of the topics you cover in that song.
Thank you.
And again, like it speaks to the mastery of your craft, how much you've honed your skills, like since high school, or technically since you were in sixth grade, up to the point that you are now. And yeah, just keep on coming, dude. I want to hear more. I want to hear all of it.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, subscribe to him on Patreon.
Absolutely.
Link in the bio.
At Arend Lee Jessurun, ArendLeeJessurun.com.
Dude, I'm gonna plug you wherever I can, dude. This is your time. This is your moment.
Well, I can play that tune. I just got to tune my guitar to that tuning.
Yeah. I think it's be a great opportunity also just to transition to play some songs, talk through them, talk through your tunes.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw you play was technically the last time I saw you play was during our live stream show back in April.
Coachella.
Coachella 2020.
Back when we
Hopefully the last Coachella. Fingers crossed that we find a cure before Coachella 2021.
Yeah,
We can be hopeful, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we were so young and starry-eyed back then, early on in the quarantine. We're like, all right, just like probably a few more weeks of this, right?
Yeah. Well, wait, what do you mean that it's the first quarter of quarantine?
Yeah. Oh, what? Okay.
Oh,
So this one, everybody is a fool. This took a couple years to kind of hone in. I wrote a first draft of it maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and it had different lyrics. It had slightly different chord progression and guitar part. Um, yeah, and then about a year ago, I took another look at it because I thought the hook was really good and said something, and I was a little better lyric writer after those couple years. Um, so I took another crack at it, wrote some more verses, and polished some others up, and swapped others in and out. And again, like with the chord progression, made it a lot simpler. And I remember kind of like I showed it to a friend of mine, Jonathan Lashana, who makes music under the name Everwalden. It's like, hey, what do you think about this song? What do you think about the arrangement? He said, what if you did this here at the end of the chorus? What if you repeated that line and instead of going that chord, you went to this chord? I was like, oh, that's so interesting that you should say that because like that was the first way I used to play it when I first wrote it. And so sometimes I think like song was a bit of a lesson in like over editing too. Um, so yeah, just learning how to like bring it back to the kernel of it, music and message. But yeah, and similarly, it took me longer than I should have let it with like the mixing and mastering process. Took a couple months to mix and master it, but eventually I learned my flow with it, and so now it's a much quicker process. Um, I felt like with this tune and the recording, I really turned a corner in my mixing and mastering abilities, and ended up finding a lot more, yeah, just like I suppose self-confidence, for lack of a better word, and like, oh yeah, I can make things sound good. Wow. So here it is. Um, Everybody is a fool. I'm off to seek the place where wisdom hides. And lucky me, I think I've got a start. For only fools should think that they are wise. Those sophomores and the sages look the part. The more you learn, the less you know. And I've sure got a ways to go. I may be the slowest kid in school, but I know everybody is a fool. Everybody is a fool. The old soul met the holy fool and said, I've come to you to learn your way of life. Oh, pity me, for all my life is dead, and all my peace has given way to strife. The fool said, the fool pretends 1,000 ways, and dresses in a painted face, to try and hide from ridicule. But I know everybody is a fool. Everybody is a fool. Well, love reveals to you your every fault, your broken heart and every broken rule. Yes, love will teach you how to know your heart, and then you'll know you've always been a fool. And some are fools to fall in love, and some that's what they're scared of. And many think that love is cruel, but I know everybody is a fool. And I may be a fool for you, but I know everybody is a fool. Everybody is a fool.
Can you just propose to me now?
Thanks,
I love that song so much. I love you so
man.
much.
Oh, I love you too. How's the sound?
It sounds okay. Yeah, I think it like it. Not that it cut out, but I think there's like a little bit of a lag for a very split second.
Hmm.
Still beautiful though.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll be Zoom for you. I don't know why it does that.
it's the
It's like,
magic of Zoom.
yeah.
It's magic, baby.
It'll do that. I've noticed it'll like sometimes it'll like miss like a beat and then suddenly like everything like catches up and it's like, oh, well, now the song is much faster.
Yeah.
Like having done and watched a few Zoom performances is it's yeah, it's kind of funny.
It's like, oh wow, they really picked up the tempo for that one measure.
Yeah,
Now they're
well,
back to the same tempo. What else do you got for us?
cool. Let me do a song called I Don't Know the Way. It's got a kind of similar vibe and theme. And this one I wrote also about like trying to proverbially find my way as a musician, as a creative and a professional. Um, yeah, as a sort of like I don't know, like a it's not quite a prayer, but like I don't know, longing. That's a better word. It's like a longing for finding something that like a a life's purpose. Um, so for me, like thinking particularly about music, but also whatever it is I find myself doing in 10, 20 years that gives me purpose. I think music will be a part of it in some regard. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna turn up my headphones a little bit so I can hear myself a little better as I sing. And yeah, so this is I don't know the way. You cannot choose from where you come, but only if you'll stay. Not every harbor is a home, but maybe for today. The winds of change are blowing soon, and soon they'll blow away. I leave the only place I've known, but I don't know the way. I don't know the way. I don't know the way. I know just where I wanna go, and I'll be there someday. Oh, but I don't know the way. I walk the Dolorosa path, I wander passing by the garden where the grapes of wrath came spilling from his eyes. I heard the seer strike a chord, I heard St. Thomas say, I don't know where you're going, Lord, and I don't know the way. I don't know the way. I don't know the way. I know just where I want to go, and I'll be there someday. Oh, but I don't know the way. The past a ghost, the future blind, point only to one end. The now are all of humankind, look out and back again. And all through every changing tide, and tide that cannot stay, be thou forever by my side, 'cause I don't know the way. I don't know the way. I don't know the way. I know just where I want to go, and I'll be there someday. Oh, but I don't know the way. Oh, but I don't know the way.
I really resonate with that song as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, especially as a fellow songwriter. That
Yeah.
rings true.
Well, cool. I'm happy to
Yeah,
hear that. Yeah, sometimes it's I don't know, finding a there's like that kind of unicorn job, I suppose, like that just hits all the marks. Um, I don't know. It's not so much about a job, I suppose, but yeah, just about like what is my place here? What is my purpose here? Yeah.
definitely.
Hmm.
Which of your songs was the easiest to write? And then which one would you say was the hardest? If we were talking about like the opposite sides of the spectrum.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Um, I feel like perhaps Everybody is a Fool was the hardest. Maybe not the hardest, but at least it had the most work put into it before it was like, yes, this is the final product or the finished product, that is. Um, the easiest to write, I wrote a song called "Hope Is on Your Side" in like an hour one night. And this was like the night that I decided to quit my job as a barista to like really give music a go. Um, so I had a couple music jobs, but I wasn't really doing like my thing and like putting my music out there so much. So yeah, I resolved. I'm like, I'm gonna quit my coffee shop job and I'm gonna use my music degree a little bit more. And it was kind of frightening because it's just a weird field to go into. But yeah, I wrote that song hope is on your side about it. About yeah, those kind of like scary moments, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm happy to play that one too if there's
Dude,
still.
go for it.
All right.
As you're tuning, I want to talk to you about the tunings in your songs. So for Everybody is a Fool, is that one like in an open tuning?
Yeah, that one's Dad Gad.
That was Dadgad?
Huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
The last one I played uh, is in drop D. And those were kind of out of necessity because I hurt my thumb like a year ago just from like overuse of like I would do this thing,
Like the over like arching like F sharp over D, that
yeah,
stuff.
using my thumb on the sixth string, which I learned from Jimi Hendrix, and I just do that all the time. And on top of climbing, Matt and I would climb together back when gyms were still open.
Yeah.
Uh, those two things just like really wore my thumb out. So I couldn't play my songs the way I used to. Hence the different tunings. Um, yeah, and it actually lended itself nicely because I wrote this guitar part for um, Everybody is a Fool that I thought was better than the old guitar part. So go figure. All right, I haven't played this one in a while, so hopefully I still remember all the words.
Don't worry, the audience here is very forgiving.
Also, I'm on my computer, so I guess I can just pull them up.
That's true. That's a very good point.
I'm just gonna have it there for confidence. Confidence monitor. When the rain is in your face, when good grace is hide, and friends are gone without a trace, hope is on your side. When you risk it all for what? When you miss your stride, though long the road and deep the rut, hope is on your side. When you faint or fall from grace, when it hurts your pride, none who doubt are without faith. Hope is on your side. Hope is on your side. None who doubt are without faith. Hope is on your side.
Awesome. I think it's the first time I've heard that song.
Thanks. Yeah, it's
So-
been a while. I forgot. Hey, that's a song I like, actually.
Well, thank you for sharing with us. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps you'd know that feel. It's like, oh, well, that song is a good song that I wrote. It's like,
Yeah, like those feelings come back like every now and then. I
yeah,
wish they came back more frequently than not, but I'll take what I can get.
yeah. I think it's like it's a practice too. Not only like the practice of becoming a better songwriter, but the practice of like accepting the songs that come out. Because it's really easy to be hard on oneself. It's like that's not a good song. But yeah, I haven't played that one in a while because I guess I've been like less enthused about it. Because new songs get written and those are more exciting, but it's like, oh, that's actually still a good song in my book. And I'm glad you enjoyed it too.
Yeah, of course. I love everything you put out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess before we part ways for this evening, I like how the light's kind of just dimming on your side.
Yeah.
Really sets the mood.
Mhm.
Makes me love you even more.
Mhm.
So before we go our separate ways for tonight, I've been flipping the script on these past interviews, and it's been very fun for both myself and like my guests, where I have the guests be the host for the last bit, and they ask me of anything that they want to know that they've never asked before, or just things that they'd want the audience to know about me. So yeah, I'm gonna flip the script and you take over the end of the show from here.
I gotta figure out a good question now. Um, where are you finding inspiration these days? Um,
From Arend Lee Jessurun. That one is true. These days, I find myself kind of stuck in this crossroads where I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go, songwriting wise. And part of that mentality comes from knowing I have a back catalog of songs and always thinking about the go forward in terms of how would I package them up as a singular entity, as an album.
mm,
And the way that I've kind of evolved in songwriting, I've really taken like two, I would say, divergent paths where there is, that post-hardcore, like emo rock foundation that I still very much resonate with today and still kind of write songs within that fashion. But then there's also the more, I guess we could say, like refined, more palatable side for like the common ear. Um, and I've found over time that I'm actually kind of good in writing in this style, like the James Bay sort of
mm,
approach.
yeah.
So that's where I tend to pull most of my influence from and kind of figuring out which direction that I want to go in, especially, in the vein of writing more with the hope of packaging it up as an actual like EP or an LP.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, you've always in my recollection had those two kind of modes. Um, like some of the stuff on the Seminole of Jesus and Giraffes.
Yeah.
He was like proto James Bay, Matt Marquez, proto James Bay influenced Matt Marquez, but like still that kind of like, um, yeah, like very like hook centric pop songwriter with like a little tinge of folk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, like this kid in high school, he really likes listening to Emery and Under Oath and Bring Me the Horizon, but he's also a fan of Parachute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Parachute. Good old parachute.
Parachute is they're a blast. I am a big fan of Parachute. Parachute was actually the first band I saw by myself in Los Angeles.
Whoa.
Yeah, I saw that they were playing a show. I think it was 2011 at the El Rey Theater, and it
Hmm.
was my first year in LA by myself. Um, I didn't really know anyone on my floor that was a Parachute fan. I figured, oh, screw it. Like, I don't need people to go with me to a show. Music is music. I love this band. I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like one of the best nights of live music in my life.
Hell yeah. That's
Yeah,
like that's so fun to just go to a show on one's own. Um, yeah. I remember my first time doing that too. It like took a little bit of courage, but then I was like, I'm really glad I did that for myself.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so liberating.
Yeah, totally.
Because in a way, you become more immersed in the music. Where if you bring somebody that's not familiar with the band, you're kind of afraid, like, oh, are they enjoying it? Is it as good for you as it is for me? That kind of thinking.
Totally.
But yeah, is there?
Like explaining it's like, oh yeah, this like so this song like was on this album and like and it's like, oh this song is my favorite song and this
Yeah,
even if
like
like Yeah, even if the other person does know the band, it's a different experience being by oneself.
Yeah. Cool. That was like a nice side tangent. Is there anything else you want to know of me?
Um, yeah, uh, um, when's the single dropping?
When's the single dropping? Oh, that's a great question. That's also kind of interesting because I don't know when this podcast episode is dropping. So presumably by the time you listen to this podcast episode, you can find my next single, Seasons, um, a song that I wrote 10 years ago that was produced by your man right here, Arend Jessurun. That will be available on all streaming devices, platforms. It'll
And
be available on all streaming platforms, from
oh,
Spotify to Apple Music, across the board. And yeah, give it a listen. It may not be your style per se, but this is me, and it's what's been on my heart for the past 10 years. And I feel like it's very applicable to where we are in today's day and age.
oh yes, yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't even consider that. That's way true. Yeah,
yeah. The song surprisingly still holds up.
yeah, it's a
Like
good.
it's kind of preachy, given that I wrote it back when I was kind of split up amongst like three different youth group bands.
Oh yeah.
But like the concept of it is still like knowing what, if you believe something, stick to it.
hmm
Um, like know what you believe in and kind of just root yourself in whatever that is. Aside from kind of like going with the tides and being flippy floppy with whatever may be in season.
hmm In season. Wow,
Hence the song Seasons.
it's the song.
So yeah, give it a listen.
Yeah, dropping the wisdom.
Not really. Dude, I'm following your lead.
Uh,
Oh, wise Hozier lookalike.
oh, I
Beautiful, wise Hozier lookalike.
feel just like a hosier, but like in a wizard costume is what I'm imagining. One
Yeah.
hosier just like descending off the mountain in a long robe.
Like a Hagrid. Like, you're a Hozier errand.
You're I'm
That's
a
so stupid. I don't know why I thought of that.
you're a hosier lookalike, Arend. What?
Yeah. What?
What?
Okay.
Us do hosier warts and
What's
learn
your words?
dark arts of being a hosier lookalike.
Okay, I think this is like this is a good place to end it, I guess.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we're closing, yeah, what just let people know, like, where can they find you? What can they expect coming next from Arend Jessurun?
Yeah, find me on my handles on the social needs are at Arend Lee Jessurun, and my website is arendleejessurun.com. Find my music again with my name. My website's got anywhere you need to go to, um, and yeah, hopefully in the next like less than 2 months, as we're speaking right now, it'll be less than that by the time this is out. Um, I'm dropping a new single called "Seeking a Friend in LA."
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm
I'm
so excited
excited.
about that one.
I just wrapped up the master on it today, and I think it's the one. So
It's the one.
yeah, it's the one,
So excited.
dude.
And all of you at home should be excited too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good song, I think. Yeah,
Yeah. Especially for those of us living in SoCal, it's very applicable.
yeah, and
Yeah.
kind of weird these days. I wrote it right before quarantine, and I didn't think that it would have the meaning it has right now.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, I need connection with friends. Yeah,
Other than Zoom.
exactly.
Uh,
But this is a good surrogate.
definitely.
Anyways, thanks for having me. This was a ton of fun.
No, of course. I'm glad that you came on. Thank you for playing a variety of songs for us, all of which I'm a big fan of. Hopefully, like these people here at home, if you're on YouTube watching from your desktop, from your phone, what have you, will follow along as well. This guy's super talented. Um, love you to death. I can't stress that enough. And yeah, thanks again for hopping on. Guess I'll probably talk to you after this, but in any case, thanks, and I'll see you when I see you, dude.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
Go.
See you next time.
Take it easy.
You too.